Today is the 8th of April, 2018, Australian Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping, as I always do, and it says there we're still waiting for the stream to happen. So I'm hoping that we're actually streaming now. Let me have a look. Slide down to there, and yes, it is all happening. That's great. I'm going to close that one and go to this one, and then I have to change a few things around. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Up to the dashboard there. And this one, close that one off. There we go. I think it's all Jim Dandy. Let me back to the main program, and oh, I need to get the chat box out. Now, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do something slightly different. We're going to be here for about 1 or 2 minutes. I'm going to jump straight into a demonstration. So if you can put up with me, that'd be great. And also, I'm hoping the sound is syncing quite well. I've done a few more tests, and I think I've got it right. I'm hoping. I really am hoping. Okay, a quick read. Morning from everyone. That's great. Terrific. Terrific. Pop the chat out so I can see what's going on. Up there. I should have done this before, but I was too busy getting myself a quick drink. Done. Nearly finished. Everything looking good. Yes, morning people. Morning people. Up to there. Minimize this. Come on. Sorry about taking my time with this, guys, but I want to get it right. All right. So there we go. I said I was going to do a demo, and I want to read through these things first on the wall here. Patreon. I'm taking this very important step for you. Now, people will say, well, how is giving you money an important step for you? The thing is, if I can stop focusing on, eating and paying the electricity bill, I can focus more on content. And that's what I want to do. Maybe get another day here and there to be able to reduce working at other places a little bit. I still like to keep my finger on the pulse, but that means I can get more content out. This week, I haven't put a video out for probably 2, maybe 3 weeks in a row. And the reason being, I'm working on an extremely good video at the moment. And I'll give you a quick pan down to the other camera so you can see me from over here now. Have a look down there. That's what I've been working on below the Stanton bench. I'm going to show you that amazing project that I'm working on at the moment. Now, you might say, yeah, plywood with holes in it, but it's brilliant. It's a game changer in my workshop. So let me see. Just drinking beer. Okay. Nice haircut. Okay. You like that? I thought I'd duck out and get it done. I was starting to get a bit woolly around the edges. When I was a teenager, it was down my back here, and I was thinking, who'd have short hair? Old people do that. But it was just the thing of the 70s, wasn't it? All right, I'll keep reading through. So there's a link, as I say, in the description box below there if you're interested in supporting me. But, I'd rather sell you something like my Stanton bench plans. That's giving you something in return. Patreon is giving you video content in return, but you're actually helping me out big time. So whatever you want to do. Chris, Lanzit, hose wrap, other things. It's an interesting thing. Tips for drilling clean holes when making the Stanton bench. I have had some people say to me, Dave, the chamfer tool, the UJK chamfering tool from Axminster, tears a little bit on plywood, and Axminster actually admit that. It's fine on MDF. So I've got another option for you. If you want, you can follow along with what I'm doing there. More eyemuffs to be given away. A pair of Gen 1 each week for April. And I have the winner here as well. And I'm not telling you his name quite yet. But wait for that one. What else we got here? What else we got? Quick tip for screwing kitchen cabinets together without a pocket hole screw. I have a person who's asked me, Dave, how did you used to do it before pocket hole screws came along? Well, pocket hole screws have been here forever. Arthur's workbench down there is actually pocket holed together, believe it or not, in some parts. And I've showed that in what's in Arthur's Toolbox, one of the episodes about his bench. But I will share the way that I used to do it all the time prior to getting pocket holes. And, every now and then I'll still do it. Okay, how to stop tear out with the 20mm dog holes in the bench. A few people have been saying, Dave, as I'm going through, I'm getting massive tear out on the back of my plywood. And, I want to build a really nice bench. you've done this fantastic design, and I want it to look really beautiful. So I'm going to show you how to get past that as well. Autumn jonquils, yeah, it's autumn. I've got some bulbs coming up, so we'll probably a few pictures of that. Chat more if I can squeeze it in. First part of the show is generally chat. This is for people that don't watch much or haven't been to the show before. First part is a little bit of chat, and then I will jump in to do stuff. And I'm going to do that right now. So I will turn this one around. I'm sure everyone can hear me. Yep. Okay, so doing these. Now I'm going to spin this camera around on the bench here, and then I'll jump over to the other camera. So bear with me. And I'm thinking that should be okay. All good? All good, all good. Okay, hello again, I'm here again. All right, first thing I was going to do was show you possibly the screwing things together. Now I've changed my mind midstream. The reason that being, I want to use that other camera behind me to do that particular one. So I'll leave that go for the second. I'm going to show you my alternative for putting the chamfers in. Now, obviously there is a way of doing it, and that is to use a router with a 45-degree chamfer bit on it. Now, get out from down here in my beautiful new drawers, the actual chamfer bit. Now, this is Peter's chamfering tool, and it does a very, very nice job, and it sets the top of the hole perfectly. So the 45 degrees is perfectly in line with the surface, so it gives you a nice 45-degree constant right the way around, and centers it for you straight away, which is the important thing. Now, what I have been doing for plywood is I have a large through-hole countersink. I'll bring it up to the camera so you can see it a bit better. So I'm going to put my hand in front of it there so it focuses on the countersink. Now see that? That is a big monster of a through-hole countersink. The diameter here is more than 20 millimeters. So you'll find that the countersink that this cuts is around 25 millimeters. So it gives you about a 2.5 millimeter chamfer either side. Now I got this as a part of a set of 4. Now you'll find these on the web, you'll find them in Amazon, you'll find them at Carbotech, you'll find them just about everywhere. It's a generic set. And it's much the same price for that set as it is for the chamfer tool. Now don't get me wrong, the chamfer tool for this is the better option if you're doing MDF. But if you want to try and get a chamfer on there, either a 45-degree chamfer bearing section cutter for your router, or have a think about this. Now it does a really, really nice job, but the only thing is you don't have control of, wobbling around a little bit, and the chamfer, as it's cutting that countersink, it may ride off to one side of the hole and favor that more than the other, which could be an issue. So you need to have control. I was going to do it with my drill guide. This is a little portable drill guide, but the thing is, the chuck in this, and I probably should change that, but the chuck in this is only a 3/8. The shaft on this countersink is 1/2 inch, so it won't go into there. But it has a stop that I can set, so when this is running, I can set the stop to whatever depth I want. And when I built my folding trailer, you might have seen a video that I did on that, I chamfered all of the bolts that were holding the form ply floor down onto the steel frame. And I used this to make sure that I went down the right depths, because I'm a little bit crazy about that. I like flush. It's got to finish nice. So that's an option if I was to be able to change the chuck. And I don't know if I can, but maybe I'll give it a shot one day. The next option is, I think Axminster have a drill guide that is larger than that. It's got a larger section. And I also think the Festool have a drill guide as well, but we're starting to talk big money when we jump up to those. These things are around about $60 odd Australian. You're jumping up to around $400 or $500 when you get to the Festool ones. Okay, now, do you want to see it in actual use? I have a hole here without any, there we go. And quickly reading here, Andrew Hayden from Colorado. Hello, Andrew, how are you? How many have we got watching? I don't get to watch how many people are watching and how many thumbs up. But if you can give me a thumbs up if you're liking what I'm doing, and I'm changing things around all the time, that'd be great. Okay, so this hole here, just hit it straight. Finished. That didn't take too long. Now, I can look at this and I can see, because it's plywood, I can see the glue line between the laminations. So if I can see a constant amount of width around that glue line into the second lamination of the plywood, I know I've centered. That's pretty easy. And so if I think I've stuffed it up a little bit, I can, because I think I maybe have gone slightly to the left, I could force the drill that way ever so slightly and do it again. And you know what? That's just done it perfect. I don't know if you can see that. Probably not. Now, why do we want to chamfer these? And also, we don't want to go down too deep, because the deeper we go, the less bearing that this Path Super Dog has got to get a grip inside the hole. Now, I'm going to grab this out of here for the moment. Actually, I'll switch the camera, because I can do that on the run. How's that? When I'm not on the strip there. Switch him over to here. And I can open this drawer up. What do you think of that? You can't see it, can you? I'll do the next drawer up in a second. I'll get that out. And I think that'll do me. I'll open the other one up so you can see it. There you go. Love it. All soft close. I changed the subject around a little bit as I'm going along. And notice they go straight under the Stanton bench. And I'll explain this a little bit. I'll explain all that a little bit more later on. It'll be part of the show. Okay, switch the camera back over to the other side. I'm getting a little bit too technical here. There's a switch box apparently you can buy to do all this stuff. And if I get some patrons, I think John Lafferty was my first patron. Thank you very much, John. And there's another one that's come in. It's $1 or whatever you want. Yeah. It's basically a pledge once a month that it automatically gets taken out of a credit card or whatever you got. It's just like making an automatic payment to the electricity company. Same kind of thing. That helps me keep going, and I do change the subject around a lot. I will possibly go and buy one of those things if I get a few patrons. Why not one of these little switch boxes to keep the thing moving along? Now, we've got that hole there. So here's one of Peter's Super Dogs, and it has the chamfer on it, and I will bring this over so you can see it. Good, I'm on the right camera. So can you see the chamfer just there? That's the little chamfer section that stops the dog dropping down into the hole too deep. Focus is off on camera, is it? Oh well, there you go. Still reading. 76 and 35 thumbs up. Give me a few more thumbs up, that'd be great. I like the idea, Dave. Yeah, I see the panel from the Facebook page. Yeah, probably. Yes, Jesus Garcia, hi from Texas. Good morning. Guru from Mexico. Well, thank you, Grant. All right, I'm going to pop this in the hole there. Down she goes. Now, one of the things you can do is you can check whether or not it's plumb. So I've put it in, and I'm also going to make a comment here that Johannes Moore, when he first got his Super Dogs after watching the show, or watching my video on it, he also bought the chamfer tool, which, yes, works great. And he said that he was wanting to take the bottom O-ring out of the Super Dog. Now, I understand when I first put these in and started putting them into the holes of the bench here, it was catching. It was almost impossible to come out. But I found that after a few putting it in, taking it out, and so on, that O-ring got a little bit of sawdust or wear or whatever, and they go in and come out quite easily, and they expand now very well. So back to the point in hand, tighten her up. If you only have the top O-ring in, the bottom is not supported with the same amount of pressure, and your dog can wobble around, and that would give you inaccuracy. Now, talking about accurate, let's have a look. I brought my engineering square as well. I'm going to put that up against the edge there, and you know what? That looks brilliant. Both sides, exactly the same. The main thing is to have the the little chamfered flange on the dog below the surface, in line with or below the surface. if it's above, it's going to tip your timber. Now, we're talking microns of an inch, but it is going to throw you out of square a little bit. I also had someone make some comment on one of the videos just recently that he was finding the TS55 was hitting the top of his dog. The motor hangs out past the track, as you may well know. And if you're holding your track up hard against that, the motor on the TS55 can hit the taller dogs, but it doesn't hit this. And one of the things you can do, if it's only just bumping, now he did say it was only just touching, you can use this system to lower that dog down a little bit lower. And then the other thing you can do is you can raise your depth of cut up a little bit higher as well. And then the motor should pass without hitting it. Why do that? Because if I'm using two of these along the bench and another one here, I can get extra width of cut. I may not be explaining myself terribly well here, but instead of having another dog, and let me just get some more out, instead of having another dog here that I've got the timber up against, and then that one there, and another one where I've got another dog. I'm using everyone's dogs at the moment. This is a TSO dog. That's a TSO. That's a UJK. Hey, why not? Let's get one of John's dogs in the game as well. Then you can see if I've got the timber pushed up against there, and this one's supporting the track as it's going past, it could be a bit of an issue. It keeps the motor way back from that dog. If that's out and that's out, and I've got another, let's just say that's another dog the same diameter as that, which that is at the moment, you can see I've gone back another 96 millimeters, which gives me more room on this bench to work. So that's why. Now, I'm hoping that's explained everything. Now, this is not to detract from Peter's chamfer tool. This is a great tool, and as I say, this is going to give you the most accurate you're going to get, but you're going to get a little bit of tear out on plywood, but not on MDF. My suggestion is possibly have a look at getting a set of these for a little bit more money, and then you've got a double purpose machine. Your call. Okay, what do we got next? Put these away. I'm like that. Been a busy week. I don't know about you guys. You've been having a good week as well. It's autumn here at the moment. What's the next thing? I'm going to have a quick read. Tumbleweeds, hey David, Tumbleweed Works, I should say, thanks for the reviews on the TSO stuff, very helpful. Russ, all right, curious as why you made your Stanton bench out of plywood instead of MDF. Seems like most people making MFT tops use in MDF. Any reason for using? Steam has dropped. Is it still running or not? I don't know. Well, there we go. I'm going to have a quick check. John's just told me that the stream has dropped out. I'm hoping it's still running. Give me a second. I'll have a quick look up there. And up here. And back over to here. And let's see if it's still going or not. Sorry about this. Stream health is not good. Hopefully it will come. It's back. Excellent. It says there's a little red thing up there, stream health. It's not telling me what is happening with it. It's back. Okay, running for me, yes. Steam running, Dave. Good, still here. Okay. There you go. It's just giving me a green light up there. It was red for a second. I don't know, maybe someone's downloaded an email somewhere up the road and it's taken all my bandwidth. I don't know. All right, let's minimize this back to there. All right, how many people we got watching? Give me some figures, guys, and how many thumbs up and all that stuff. I'll drop that down in a second. What's that one? No. There we go. That's back. Okay, cool. Sorry about that. What's the next thing? So did you get all of the tips I just gave you about using a large countersink? Now this one it will stop automatically because that through hole doesn't go right to the edge. It stops inside. But if you force it, it will start burrowing down. So be aware of that. Why did I do it in plywood instead of MDF? Plywood, I find, is nicer to work with. It looks nicer. I like the look of timber grain. I did do one in MDF. I think the edges, it's stronger around the edges, and the Stanton bench relies on, pretty substantial joint here. I've got a fair bit of leverage on it. So that's why I did that. What's next? What's next? What time is it? 20 past. We're going well. 76 watching, 56 thumbs up. Great. Excellent. That's so cool. Thank you very much. Drink. Let me see. What's the next thing I'm going to talk about? I've covered that. I need to do a quick read on my list here, and it's right underneath there. Tips for drilling clean holes. Right, let's go on to that while we've got the drill out. I'll show you a photo. Let's see if I can find it. Patreon, no, it's not Patreon, it's this one. And I will find this photo. This one. Okay, now what we've got, pardon me, what we've got here, that voice is not getting any better, a bit more drink. $76, $60, brilliant. One of the things that I'm going to talk about in a minute, but let's go down to this to start. I've got my home network and systems are downloading around 100 gig of info, updates, and local files. Well, that's what's doing it to me, Matthew. You're buggering me up. Okay. Now, you see the picture there. I've got the UJK Path Guides aluminium block. That's the actual guide with the bush in it over on the left-hand side. Then I've got the Forstner bit coming through a ply face, a drawer front that I put on the on these drawers that are under my bench here. And then coming through again, you've got the melamine drawer body itself, the front of the drawer. Be aware that a drawer front and the front of the drawer are different things. Okay, so I've set the step, let me start that again. I put the collar, like the depth collar, on the back of the Forstner on the left-hand side there, above the jig, so that if the cutters of the Forstner bit are around 3 mil shy of coming through, but that point has come through. You follow what I'm saying there? This way, there is no actual cut all the way through, but the point is visible because I run the 3mm drill all the way through. Then it was a simple matter of I took it off the jig, the Forstner bit that is, and the pilot point on that Forstner bit I put straight into the 3mm hole from the underside of, or that's from the inside of the drawer, or for you guys, the underside of the bench. Like turned it over the right way, and then drilled it, and it cut it out as neat can be. I haven't seen anything as clean as that in all my life. Now, it's a big statement. It's a huge statement, but that's how I do it, and it makes such a difference. Let's go to this camera. It's going to be a little bit easier. Okay, suck the tummy in here. It's a bit obvious as you're going along when you're doing a video and you're not concentrating on body position. You're busy working away, and next thing you look at reviewing the video and go, you better back off on some of the carbohydrates, Dave. Let me see, where are we up to? I'm hoping the stream is still running. Yep. Cool. All right. Now, what do we got next? What do we got? I'm having a quick look down here. Right, I'm going to show you a picture of the jonquils. Why not? This is in the garden. As leaves are falling off the trees, we've got new life coming up. I don't know how all that happens, but it does. Okay, Matthew, fantastic way of doing it means you can cut a thin, neat disc out of the other side. Exactly right. That's just works so well. All right, while we've got this happening here, I'm going to switch down to this camera. Now, you'll notice that I've got the bench here. I'll talk to this camera. You'll notice that I've got the Stanton bench here. When I did my drawers in the cabinet underneath, you remember that I built this assembly table ages ago, and I didn't put anything underneath. It was naked like this one over here. I didn't put anything. Camera 2's focus is way off. Oh, well, there you go. Which one am I now? Am I camera 2 or not? I'm going to come in closer and see if the focus is any better. If I stand right down here, John, is the focus going to be okay? Is it working now? I think what's happening is it's possibly looking at things around the back of the workshop, trying to focus on those. I don't know. Do you freehand cut the rest of the way through, or do you... I just freehand it. I'm responding to that question. Yeah, the back camera is not focusing on you. Now is 2. Okay. I don't know why. I'll muck around with those settings next week. Look, you can kind of get an idea of what I'm doing. I guess one of the things is maybe it's this sign. Maybe it's focusing here on that. Don't know. I don't want to get caught on that. I'm going to open this up anyway. So you notice with this, when I open it up, even if it's not in focus, it misses the bench here. Now this is not built for this bench. This is built for the assembly table underneath. And if you want to know more about it, I'm releasing the video on the full build. And that is how to, from scratch, just from a sheet of melamine, how to draw up the plan by hand, which is crazy with this CNC machine coming not too far down the track, but I'm doing this one by hand. Nest the whole job, do a cutting list, nest the whole job on a sheet of plywood by drawing, and I show you all the details of how to do that. How to cut it out, how to pocket hole the drawer together. It's a simple design, it's just so easy, anyone can do it. How to put these king slide drawer slides in. Now, these king slide drawer slides that are in here, I bought them from Bunnings, just to let you know. And then after it, I got in touch with King Slide and I said, look, I'm using some of your stuff on the show. I need some more slides. Are you interested in sending some over? And they did, and thank you very much for that. So I've got some more that have come. They didn't pay for these ones. I pay for these ones. So in future, you'll see some more King Slides getting around, and they've got a really nice action. These are soft close. Look at that. I love watching it. Love watching it. It's beautiful. And you might wonder what all of this T-track here is for. It is for little clamps or little stops to lock into if I'm working on the front here. Not on the front of the Stanton bench, on the front of the main bench. I can use anything down here I want to. That's fine. There's a thought for you as well. If you want to, you can put T-track down the face of this if you decide to get the plans for this. And that will let you also put a sliding stop in there, just in case these holes don't line up for you. I'm going to switch the cameras back and see how we go with that. There. Now, is this camera focusing? Let me have a look. You think the light on the back of the cabinets is throwing up? Okay. It's a little out of focus. Is the shirt purple? Well, it's actually green today. You're making some serious suspense for your draw build video. 76 watching, 70 thumbs up. Great. Okay. Now, as I was saying, this video is around 50 minutes long. It's a long video, and I was looking at it, right, what do I do? Do I cut it down to 10 minutes and just make it a show? Or do I leave it at 50 minutes and make it a tutorial? So I have trimmed some of it out because it was going to be an hour and a half to 2 hours, and it's just crazy. No one's going to stay around for an hour and a half and 2 hours and listen to me waffle on. So I thought, right, I won't push and do the YouTube thing. So what happens with YouTube, I don't know if you know the metrics with that, is that if you get a video out once a week, maybe 2 a week, your ranking with their little search engines kicks up big time. If you don't put a video out every week, all of a sudden you stop getting referred and down you go down the list and other people get the hits. So this is one of the reasons why I jumped at Patreon. I thought, all right, I'm not going to get as much exposure. I thought, well, how about rather than worrying about the metrics on YouTube, I look at giving as good a quality content as I can, and also if people can support me in what I'm doing, because this is what happens. 5 minutes of video takes me 8 hours. So that's what happens. Normally a 10-minute video is 2 days. This 50-minute video I've been working on for 3 weeks, plus also I shot a lot of it before that. And it may not look like that. It'll look like, oh yeah, that makes sense, that makes sense, that makes sense. But that's the thing. If the video is making sense to you, I've done it well. And I've spent a lot of time to make sure that it's come across well. So there we go, that's my rant. Now the next thing I want to do, focusing on those cabinets over there, hey? I'm going to disconnect a couple of lights and see if it then will focus here. Right. Okay. There we go. As the content was relevant. Here we go. I'm going to switch over there. I'll change the cameras around in the meantime and see if that works. Switch that. Go to there. Okay. It's a new position for a camera. I should really make sure that I do these things correctly. Where is that one? Let's pull that one out. That one's gone. And this one. Let's pull this one out. Got it. There we go. That's the great thing about these lights. I can just disconnect them at any time. Now, have we got focus? Is there focus on David now? Tell me what's happening. Dave, thanks for joining Patreon. Love your show. All very clear in Melbourne. Thanks, Planty. Excellent. 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 Now, is it focusing on me or is it focusing? Oh, floor in the CNC room is going brilliantly, Wayne. Thank you. Maybe it's just not focusing at all. I don't know. Maybe it's got some gunk on the lens. Have a look at that. What's that done? Anything? Maybe? Is that better? All the focus in highlight is perfect. Yes, much better. Excellent. Light and focus was okay. Looks fine. Beautiful. Thank you. All right. Next thing. So I had someone say to me, Dave, before pocket hole screws came along for kitchen cabinets, what did you do before? Well, I'll show you. Now, use my bench here. Oh, love this. Get a couple of clamps out. See, this table here is an assembly table. And I love the fact that I can just grab things out of the drawer here without walking a million miles. I get one of them as well. I'll show you what I'm going to do. Never looked better. Okay. I know when I was building my Stanton bench, I would have a little more detail, liked a little bit more detail on occasion. Okay. Sorry about that. Focus clear in Melbourne, better. Okay. Zane, can you send me some photos of the Stanton bench? I'd love to see some photos. There's some photos of a photo of one of the guys that's going to be in the show today. Glasses on for this, and I'm going to pretend that I'm making a little kitchen cabinet here. Don't you love this? For people that haven't got one, it's magic. Done. Look at that. Not going anywhere. Now that I'm going to get this, put long videos on Patreon. That's an option. Focus on you being okay all the time. It was the lights were turning off glare. Do you have a drawer for yellow box shed accessories? There'll be some in there. Don't worry about that. Okay, spin that around. As I say, this is great because I can line up the edge to do a joint and not worry about anything. It's all going to stay in the one place. I'm using the long clamp in the center to hold it down. There. Ha! That's so good. That's brilliant. I love it. Okay, now, drill. Got a couple of drills in here. And I'm going to use a 2.5mm drill bit. Now my drills, I keep in upside down. Why? Why do I do that? Well, I like my fingers. And so I can take a drill out of there easily now without, if my drills are sharp, so I don't want to cut myself as I take them out. I don't know if you saw that or whether it was too dark. Here we go. There you go. Because while I'm over there, I can't see what's happening on the screen here. So 2.5mm drill bit, which is this guy here. I was taught this by a guy probably 25 years ago. So what we do is put the drill in, and we're going to drill a hole center of that piece underneath here, straight down, all the way through. 2.5mm. There we go. That's it. It's not too hard so far, is it? Working on pictures made the bench to help cutting new flooring, putting it together. Now room is finished. Excellent. Good drilling tip there. I'll steal that idea. I did a video on it. You guys, you got to look back through my library of videos. There's a couple of hundred, but you know, you'll be right. And you'll find them. Okay, now. Be aware, people. I'm going to come over here and see if this is going to be too dark or not. No, it'll be fine. All right. These are 45mm 8-gauge screws, Phillips head or posi drive, whichever you want to get, countersunk. Now, in the States, if you saw that, you would say, what the hell's going on? You'd want to see possibly 2-inch or 1 3/4. That'd be close to 1 3/4. Your 8-gauge is going to be different to ours. Okay, so in Australia, an 8-gauge by 45, or you could use an 8-gauge by 50. Same thing. Pocket hole screw, totally different, and you need a big hole for it. So when I'm doing the cabinets on the outside, or around here, I purely 2.5mm hole right the way through, and we don't drill a clearance hole. The hole is the clearance and the pilot all in one go. Let me have a quick look there. Here we go. Done. So it goes straight in. You don't get any tear out on the top. I possibly could have put that in a little bit deeper. I can sneak it in a little bit at the bottom so it finishes flush. Done. I'll bring these over to you in a second so you can have a look. Done. All right. That is how neat it can be, if you wanted to. They're beautiful. The joint's great. So that's how, and it's strong, but that's how I used to do all of the cabinets, all the carcasses like this big body here. That's how I would have done them all prior to pocket hole screws becoming fashionable. All right. Let me see. Good trip done at Lost Bits. I tried those snappy drill bits for the Centratec chuck. Amazing. Just by not having the weight of the full chuck on the CXS drill for 9 hours a day. Huge difference. Dave, could you mention the type of tape on your Stanton bench? Yes, the tape here is the stuff that you use. You can buy it for replacing Festool tracks. Here, give me a second. So it's a non-slip track, or sorry, it's a non-slip tape. I've gone around the back here to get some. So if you get in touch with Festool, or if you go into a store that sells Festool stuff, and I'm sure they're not the only company, probably Triton has the same kind of thing, and Makita, but this is a non-slip tape that you stick to the underside of a track for a track saw. And that's all that I've got on the Stanton bench. It works very, very well. It's self-adhesive. Underneath, you peel a little film off, and then you push it down into a rebate. As I say, on the Stanton bench, I show you all the dimensions and where to put these so it works well. And away you go. Alrighty. What's next? I think I've shown everyone that. So you're happy with the way of doing that? Works very well. Those Centratec chuck drills are fantastic. I love them. From Snap-on Tools, isn't it? Ah, beautiful. All right. And, you know, everyone throws links up for them. I throw links as well, so whatever you want. I'll put this away. We're up to 22. Here I was last night panicking that I had nothing for the show, and I thought, what am I going to show people? And I thought, all right, well, we're doing Patreon at the moment. Let's talk about that. Someone even this morning, that was only asked of me this morning on Facebook, or maybe even on one of my YouTube clips. And so I thought, well, there's something I can share with people. What's the next? What's next? Take these off. Let's move that right out of the way. Oh, one of the other things, people have seen that I've been stabilizing a piece of plywood. So this set of drawers here is one piece of ply. And I show you how I do it in the video so that you notice all the grain is perfect. It's just, You may not notice it in this, but wait till you see the videos. I put a photo on Facebook of holes, all these holes were just done in a little bit, and there was, you know, pocket hole screws everywhere. And but you can see it was one piece of plywood, and I said, what do you think this is? So anyway, it's all a little bit revealed at the moment, but next week, as I say, I'll get the video out. And if you want to take the time to watch it, do it. It took me a long time to do it. I'll pop these back in here, and I love these soft close drawer glides from, did I mention who they're from? King Slide. Look, if someone helps me out and it's a good product, I'll help them out and talk about them. Why not? Makes the world go round. More drink. Now, I did mention, I can take this off now. I did mention about that piece of plywood over there. Move this. Now, does this make a bit more sense to you? This mag switch universal rail is perfectly in line with all of those. And why did I do that? Well, because I can now put a sliding stop in the tracks anywhere along, you know, and I can grab my stuff as I'm going. Don't you love that? I love it. I love it. Look at this. It's going to shut absolutely perfectly. I do not use an impact screwdriver for anything. I used to. I found it strips the timber thread. I'm not a fan of impact drivers. I just get good, solid drills. So there you go, James. Sorry I had little for the show. I'll try to get more yellow box. Good on you, John. Throw in a bloody little ad there. The type of tape on your bench. You came across a couple of great videos. Zane, okay, Oasis, why do you not put the drill bit all the way in to rest on the back of the chuck? You can do, but in that situation that I was just using that drill then, I let it proud because I wanted it to go in 45 to 50 millimeters into what I was drilling. So you can pull it out a little bit. With a router, it's a different story. Don't put the router cutter all the way into the chuck on a router. Pull it back a millimeter or two, because what happens then is you're not pulling the heat from the motor of the router into the cutter, or not transferring the the cutter's heat, because it gets warm cutting stuff, pushing it back into the cutter as well. So there's a couple of little things there that are different. Back to this. All right, let's have a quick look at the yellow box shed stuff. There we go. That one and that one. You watch this. This is one of their buddy pegs, and I've got a 8mm bolt on the other side. And remember, John prints the thread into the buddy pegs. They're Steve and John's little invention. Watch this. All right. Finishing perfectly flush. I don't have to show you too much more about that, do I? The fact that I'm going to have any position along there so I can support small. I can clamp onto the face here and work on whatever I want here. With the drawers, I probably wouldn't go pounding away on the top here, you know, down with a hammer too much, but a chisel will be fine, depending on the clamping force there. It would make a great handle for the drawer. There we go. What's next? Jump over to the other screen, and let's see if we can find out what's happening. Other camera up, transition to there. Okay, good. I'm glad that that made sense to you. I need to turn this camera around, and but before I do that, I'll face it over there. So down there, see straight down? That piece of plywood had a 1/4 inch warp in it. So it was warped like this. Now, this is probably not the first time you've seen anything like that. It's sitting absolutely perfect now. And why is it doing that? Because the Papa Smurfs are holding it up. You see them? Those little guys there. Don't you reckon that looks like a little Smurf? Anyway, they're little supports. It supports the sheet The sheet has got air circulating all around it. It took about 3 weeks for that sheet to stabilize. Don't expect it to happen overnight. Spin this around, back over to here, and up a touch. And I think that should be good. Shameless plug. Yes, of course he does. Instagram, of course he does. I don't know how this is going to go with the lights changed over there. One of the other things I wanted to show you, someone asked me how the floor was going in the garage. It's going great. How's the sound sync going this week? I'm hoping it's going well. There we go. This, I have also painted all the walls. This is that can of paint that I found in Aldi, and it's bloody good stuff. I was really surprised. I was thinking, oh, you know, cheap paint, what's going to happen? You know, I'll probably have to go and buy some real stuff further down the track, but this went really, really well. Great cover. Now, this thing here is a little lid that's got a pouring spout, and didn't this help me out? But I got paint on me already. Look at that. I was thinking of deflection of the drawers being a problem if your rolling table wasn't level after moving, but once it's clamped, it won't really matter. Wait, I may have to leave early today. Apparently, we're going to Costco. Good on you, Wayne. I like the miter saw setup. Well, good. Andrew, I've been looking at your site. Do you do anything kits like starter packs? Oh, this is for John's yellow box shed. He probably could. You know, that's something he probably hasn't even thought about. What do you reckon, John? Neat. Next week, can I come out of the corner? John, you can come out of the corner this week. You've got 15 minutes left to play with the other children. Okay, so that is a brilliant thing. So I took the lid off this tin. Threw the lid away. I'm going to leave this on it all the time because I've still got a bit more painting to do out there, and I'm also going to do some repairs on the villa board out there, and I thought I might do a little bit of videoing on that while I do it. The epoxy, the clear epoxy, has arrived to do all the concrete floor, so that's going to be happening as well. Sink is good. Thank you, Zane. Again, I didn't want to start one video until I'd finished the previous one because you just get caught up and nothing gets done. I need to focus on one thing at a time, which I don't do much while I'm on the show. You may have noticed. What's the next thing? That and that. Tips for drilling, more eyemuffs to be given away. Okay, who wants to know who won the eyemuffs? You all do. You all do. Putting the sets idea together. Excellent. Okay, so eyemuffs, and remember, there's another competition right at the moment. So jump into the description box where it says "Show More." Open that up, click it, and say expand it, and you'll see the new competition. I think we've probably got 2 more to do for this month. George from eyemuffs is giving us 1 pair a week for the whole month of April. That was so generous of him. Oh, and also Phoebe. We sent her a pair out for her birthday, and she's over the moon about that. She's put some photos up on Facebook. Okay, now, if your initials are JT, you are in the running. You are in the running. If you live in Australia, you are also in the running. Sorry about the rest of the world. Last week, it went to America. And if your first name is John, you're getting closer. Ray, thank you very much. I just got a little super chat. Thanks for that, Ray. Ray, that's great, but I'm not going to say anything. I sound ungrateful. That's terrible. It's not what I'm trying to say at all. I'm just trying to say that we're looking at Patreon at the moment, and if people are wanting to help me out, the best way is through Patreon, because the most of that comes to me. And you know, again, I'm not detracting from what you've just done. That is so generous. Thank you so much, Ray. Now, every time this happens, that throws me. All right, John, I've got you hanging on the edge of your chair, haven't I? John Townsend. There you go. John Townsend is the winner this week, or not really a winner. He's going to be the recipient, because it's not a competition. It's like a sweepstake. You put your name in, we pull a name out of the hat. It's not a raffle or anything. It costs you nothing to do it. Jump in and have a look. This week, what I've done is I've said, you need to visit my Patreon site. You don't have to become a patron. Just go and have a look at it, and then give me a little... it's one of the conditions of going into the competition this week. So that's a little perk for me. All right, what do we got next? Quick tip on screwing cabinets together. We've done that. Stop the tear out. Autumn jonquils. Chat and more. And Chris Lanzit. Where are we? Now, Chris, I'm going to, pardon me, have another drink. John Thurston won them. Yes. 90 and 81 thumbs up now. That's great. Yep. Congratulations, JT. It's to all the talking. I should shut up, shouldn't I? All right. Chris Lanzit. Now, Chris has sent some stuff in. He says, this is a bit of a ramble. Now, I'm going to throw a picture up right at the beginning. And this is a picture of something that Chris has made. Now, you probably won't even see it. This is a stool made out of timber and pipes. Now, the top section of the timber is actually between those two rugs and it blends into that floor unbelievably. But I thought that the pipe work that he had done for the base of the table looked really, really nice. So let's have a bit of a read through. Hi, Dave. This is a 1 1/4 pages. This is a bit of a ramble, but I have time on my hands. I've been back from travel abroad for a few weeks and have been busy and then came down with a terrible sinus infection, hence the free time. Some time ago, while I was at Carbotech, I promised to send you pics of my stool and the Stanton bench I made. I'm currently putting together some storage benches for Festool Cis AZ drawers, so the surface of the bench is quite cluttered. My workshop is in a small patio at the back of our flat, and although half covered, is also open to the elements. So not ideal, but I have what I have, a small space to do woodworking. Look, I reckon there's a lot of people like that. You know, I used to do that kind of stuff as well when I first started out, and then slowly, you know, one shop would develop into another space would develop into another. Sometimes they got larger, sometimes they got smaller. A note about the workbench on which the Stanton bench... Oh, sorry, I'll read the part of the stool. The stool is the first attempt, and I plan to build a second one because the size of a piece of off-cut hardwood for the seat, perhaps it's not ironbark, maybe it is, was not quite right. I sawed it down the middle and then turned the resulting halves 90 degrees and reattached them with pocket screws. I sanded the wood after using a round-over bit to finish the edges and applied U-Butte neutral wax using your Valise method or Felice method. The wood grain is very lovely and the round over made the world of difference in comfort while sitting on the stool. Okay, now we'll go to the ironbark bench that he's doing, or that he's built, and this is where he's built my Stanton bench as well. So that's underneath that piece of ply that's there at the moment, on which the Stanton bench sits. It's made with 3 recycled ironbark sleepers with ironbark legs and stretchers. I had a local timber yard cut the sleepers, it's ironwood is the yard, cut the sleepers down for me to 2 meters and glue them up. Run it through a planing machine and build the legs for me. I then sanded and oiled the bench. It was so beautiful that I had second thoughts about using it for a workbench and may still move it to our front balcony as a long table. The tung oil finish really brought out the lovely grain and I left the holes where the railroad spikes had been. Lots of fun and a unique piece. Now, this next one is something that's going to be very good. Now, this is his Festool hose that he put a sleeve on. I also did a video on this as well, if you want to have a look back through it. I wanted to pass along a tip for those putting a nylon sleeve on their dust extraction hose. I found the braided nylon sleeve online at RS Components. Their black expandable braided sleeve, 30mm diameter, expands at a 2:1 ratio, so it fits over my larger 34mm hose for the CT17 easily. I taped a plug-it cord to the hose before running it through the mesh cover. Bit tedious and it seems like helping a python consume its meal, but worked like a champ. You'll note that I have a UK plug-it because my CT17 is a UK model, so I'm stuck with the UK HK plugs for connection to my tools, also some of which are from the UK. Now here's the next thing. Now this is the thing that I'm going to do. This is called Tough Tape. Now he says, I came across some great tape at JCar Electronics in their Sydney store across from the Queen Victoria building, where I went to find heat shrinking tubing. At the suggestion of helpful sales clerk, I got some silicone Tough Tape rather than the heat shrink. Marvelous stuff. It self-adheres like nobody's business and I think it will not peel off. I've included a photo of the packaging. So that is something that I really am interested in getting as well. So where are we up to? Where are we up to? Where are we up to? The next thing is here. Now, this is the next part of his story. This is only a little bit to go. I'm off to Finland for the winter. From May to September. Lots of projects to do at our summer house there. Hope to see you when I get back. I'll continue to keep an eye on your webcast, but perhaps not live due to the time difference. Threw in a couple of photos of our sauna, which we had built a couple of years ago. Can't wait for the sauna again this year. I saw your show where you featured your vaulted ceiling. Sweet. I will send a picture of the inside of our great room in Finland. Pardon me, equally impressive, I think built about 45 years ago, with hand-cut logs from northern Finland. Best, Chris. Now, as I say, that one went on for a bit, but I don't think you minded. Did you? Like that? I love to hear what people are doing. Now, Chris is obviously doing quite well. He's got a couple of homes around the world, and good on him. Why not? I love the fact that people can share what they're doing, whether it's small, little things or big things like Chris is there. Though his stool is only tiny, but I had a hard time spotting it the first time I saw it. Let me have a look here. I'm going to have a quick read. Should do a demo on the drawer lock bit in there. Saying my brother-in-law in UK loves them. The jackets are good. Wayne, did you see the eyemuffs on the Wood Whisperer? No, but I heard that it happened, so I don't know whether Mark's been watching my show and thought, oh, there's a tip I might use, do what Dave's doing over there. Zane, cool, Sydney Tools is selling them, which is bonus battery starter set. Matthew D, I've been tempted to buy one myself. Not sure. I don't know what we're talking about here. The conversation has tracked way past it. John Lafferty is not cruel. Zane, Matthew, I think I'm going to go and try one on after today. Maybe it's a battery coat. I don't know. Charles Wood, I have an old set of eyemuffs. Unfortunately, starting to crack at the bridge. Can't seem to find supplier in New Zealand. Just get in touch with George. I've put his link in the page there, and he'll post them over to you. It's no big trouble. They do all sorts of different replacement lenses, so he'll flick them over. Matthew, half your luck. Queensland doesn't really need it. If we move to the UK later this year, might have to get one. Yeah, I think it's probably a heated coat with batteries. Milwaukee used to do them all the time. Canberra gets a bit cool even with a shed insulated zone. Andrew Winter, did I miss the hour to stop tear out on 20mm holes? Well, you can look back through the video. It's not a problem. Zane, so heated jacket useful over winter? Yes. All right. That's just about everything, guys. Look at that. Just coming up to 12 o'clock. We're 4 minutes off. Morning, Dave. I know in the corner. Yes, Brian. Will you never learn? I think that's about it, guys. I went from a show that I didn't think I'd have anything happening to I'm going to get that little piece that I joined together again because it works really, really well. Here we go. This is that joint that I just did using ordinary wood screws, and nothing is torn out. Just be aware that if you push too hard, if you drive the screw in too deep, you will break out that edge. But it works great. All the cabinets in my kitchen I did that way. I've done it for other people that way. That's the way it goes. Zane, good guess, Dave. Yeah, well, there you go. I see out of one eye. It's like, at school, the teacher said that she had eyes in the back of the head. How the hell did that happen? I don't know. Brought the plans for the Stanton bench and ordered the UK Technology Path Guide system, which has increased in price by 30%. I might have to go and have a talk to him and say, hey, guys, do you want to cut me in on that? Yes, Brian. And 5, hail Dave. Dave, would you use a heated jacket? I possibly would. I'm up in the Blue Mountains. It doesn't get horribly cold. We get down to about 2 degrees, maybe 1 degree Celsius, so that's around freezing point. But all of my buildings are pretty well insulated here. It could be handy in this room here or out in the garage, because where I'm going to set up the CNC machine, this air conditioner in here may not be good enough to fill that volume of air. So a heated jacket might be good. Yeah, I'd consider it. Glad to finally be able to catch you live, Dave. That's fine, Tumblewood works. Michael Christopher, 76 watching, 88 thumbs up. Peter Alicia, well, back to the workshop and more work on Wendy's workstation. Have a great weekend. You need to send us some more photos on how that one's going, Peter. Tough tape is great and available at Bunnings. Thanks, Darren. That's what this is all about. It's community. Keep us all informed, and away we go. I think that's everything for this week, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget, click that Patreon link. Did you know that one of the rewards is a 10-minute Skype one-on-one? So you, me, whatever you want to ask about, if you've got a project that you're doing and you need some inside information on how to do it, or if you just want to chat, tell me what things are like at your place. I can show you around the garden a little bit because I can Skype on my mobile phone around the yard. All that kind of stuff. So it's that's the top echelon. I think it's $25 a month. But there's other things in there. One gentleman put in $1 a month at the moment, which is great as well. It's not a reward. It's just bang. He says, thanks for doing this, Dave. Here's $1. I love it. Thank you so much. And I'm going to have a quick look at the stuff down here. Ebony work. Nice work, Dad. G'day, Eb. How are you? She's my baby. It's my youngest daughter. There you go. Thanks, Eb. Alan Mullock, nice one, Dave. Peter Lisiak, photos after completion, good. Sean, another great show, Dave. Thanks for your time and efforts to provide quality content. Derek Lark, good show, Dave. Charles Wood, great show, Dave. Thanks. Wayne Jones, bye all. Off to Costco for you, buddy. And I shall see everyone later. Now, don't forget, you can watch this as a recording and all the chat will stay there this week because I'm not going to cut it out. Bye. Stay safe.